Welcome to our weekly maritime vlog. I'm Corey Ransom with International Maritime Security Associates. We have Bennett, the producer that you guys seem to love, behind the camera. And as always, Mr. B is on the floor making sure we stay on track. This week, folks, we are talking about ocean cleanup. Ocean cleanup has been receiving a lot of focus in the media, not just the maritime media, but also in regular media around the world. It's been really cool to see because as you look at the problem of just plastics in the ocean, it's huge. It's estimated that every single year, 8 million tons of plastics are dumped into the ocean. That's roughly basically a garbage truck every day of plastic that's dumped into the ocean. And out of that, 236,000 tons of that are microplastics, which are even more difficult to deal with and have a far-reaching effect on the ecological system of the ocean. So back in 2013, an 18-year-old kid named Boyan Slat, and I hope I really am pronouncing your name properly, from Delft in the Netherlands, started an organization called the Ocean Cleanup. And he started this organization at 18 years old with the primary purpose to clean up plastic in the ocean. This organization over the last 5 years has grown tremendously. They have 70 scientists and researchers and people who are looking at how do you solve the problem of cleaning up plastics in the ocean. Right now they have moved the headquarters of this organization to Rotterdam, and it's cool to see, as being a nonprofit organization, what they've been able to do and design over the past few years to really focus on ocean cleanup, because it's becoming a huge problem, and the plastics in the ocean have a negative effect on different economies around the world that rely on the ocean for their livelihood. So first, for us to really understand how this plastic kind of gets stuck in the ocean, there's a concept that I thought we would kind of push forward so you guys would understand a little bit about ocean currents. Ocean currents, when you look at them, are extremely complex, and there's different currents that move water in the oceans around the world. It's really cool. If you get the chance, look up the rubber duckies that are floating around the ocean, and they have traveled around the world. I think they've been on a 20-year trip. It was a container that was on board a ship that was full of these little yellow plastic rubber duckies. The container fell overboard, opened up, and these rubber duckies went all over the world. It's really cool, and there's a website that tracks that. But with ocean currents, these things have moved all over the world. So it gives you an idea of the complexity of the ocean currents. With the currents that we're looking at, specifically with the garbage and the plastic issue, we want to kind of focus in on an ocean current called an ire. There's 5 major ocean ire currents around the world. So there's one in the Northern Pacific, the Southern Pacific, the Northern Atlantic, the Southern Atlantic, and the Southern Indian Ocean. And what these ires are is basically big circular currents that move the water around in a huge circle. When you specifically focus on the plastic issue in the ocean, the biggest density of this plastic is located in what's called the Northern Pacific Ire, which goes from the east coast of Asia over to the west coast of the United States. And if you look at the boundary of where kind of the greatest concentration of this plastic is, it's from 135 west longitude to 155 west longitude, and it goes from 45 north latitude up to 35 north latitude. So you can see it's a pretty big area of concentration. But the issue is when people think about plastics in the ocean, most of the pictures that you see on media are a whole bunch of plastics grouped in one area. The issue is it's really not like that in the ocean. The 8 years I spent in the Coast Guard, we saw plastic and debris all over the ocean, and when we could and weren't operational, tried to clean up and pick this up as much as we possibly could. But a lot of this debris is spread out over a wide area. So when we really talk about ocean cleanup, it's good to understand the ocean currents and what happens. And what happens when these plastics get in these big ire currents is it moves in a big circle, and it's almost impossible for these plastics to move out and to eventually come to shore, where it's a little bit easier for the cleanup. So what's happening in ocean cleanup? The organization that I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog, the Ocean Cleanup Organization, has been working to put together a device that floats through the ocean, basically cleaning the ocean up of plastic. This has been a long journey for these guys with a number of engineers and scientists and environmentalists and people who are concerned about this issue of plastic. Well, the good news is on September 8th of 2018, a Maersk ship towed this, it basically looks like a long tube out of San Francisco Harbor to their first test ground, which is 250 to 350 nautical miles to the west of the California coastline. It's going to take them 2 to 3 weeks to do some testing, and then from there they're actually going to move into what they feel is kind of the main part of the debris field, which is between 1,200 to 1,500 nautical miles off the coast of California, which puts them kind of right in between Hawaii and the coast of California. And this is where they're going to start with the ocean cleanup. There's a number of videos when they towed this big kind of plastic tube out of San Francisco. They did this live on YouTube. It was a really cool event to see. And it's going to be really interesting to see how well this device works, the viability of being able to do this, because this type of device, if it works, could really have a huge impact on cleaning up the oceans. But I also look at it as working in the maritime industry, all of us, whether we're on a large yacht or a cargo line or a cruise line or fishing vessels or pleasure boaters, it's our responsibility, whether we're in an inland lake or a river or we're on the sea or an ocean or wherever we are, it's our responsibility to make sure that we keep these waterways clean. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate all the viewers we have. If you're not a subscriber of this channel and you've watched the video long enough, that means you like it. So hit that subscribe button so you get notified when we put out new content. And if you do like it, make sure you push that like button. I guess it helps us some way or form or shape, but we just want to make sure that we keep putting out information on this channel that you guys like. Also, connect to us, join the conversation, ask us questions, suggest topics for us to cover through our social media, which is detailed in the banner above and also in the comments section located below. If you guys have questions where it comes to maritime security, maritime risk management, or regulatory compliance in the maritime realm, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have a number of experts here that are happy to help you and to answer your questions because, as you know, we're always happy to steer you in the right direction.